Welcome to the family with
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Alex Bernard Rasmussen.
And Andy Bernard.
a lot of enthusiasm. That's good. We like that. So, what's the late? Alex is wearing a snow. It's 10 below hat.
Yes, it certainly is.
Is it really that cold? Well, what's the temperature?
It's like 7.
Well, the temperature is -1.
What?
So
My thing says it's 7.
The
and
high
it feels
is
like
7.
No, it says right now it is 7, and
Huh.
it feels like 1.
Well, I don't think this is going to make that much difference.
It's cold.
Not really. It's the low is -14, so there is that.
That's tonight.
Yeah.
That's all that you need to
Around
know.
Yep.
zeros, just flipping cold. That's that company. What was that company that had that happy face on everything?
There was a company.
Yeah, there was that company.
There's
It had
that
the
company.
stick figures forever. It was really
Are you thinking of Mr. Men?
no. Life
kinda
is
look like
good.
that.
Life is good. I think.
Oh,
it was.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that's
life
right.
is good.
I don't know that one. People want to know why you wear your glasses, Catherine, when you're on the air, because you never wear glasses unless you're on the show.
Because I am usually looking stuff up, and then I have to be able to see.
No, we'll see. Oh, there you go. Any big news we should know about? And basically all I see on the news now, because I've gotten away from watching the national news a lot. I used to watch it a lot, and I'm not watching it anywhere near as much because all it basically is people stealing our money. Whether it's today, it's the Kennedy Center. Apparently, been receiving $35 million a year for many years, and we don't even know why they get any money at all.
Yeah, they got a whole buttload of COVID money, and we were like, why is it? I mean, the Kennedy Center is an iconic
Right?
place in New York.
Yeah.
They have tons and tons of shows.
Oh, is it in New York? I thought it was in D.C.
Isn't it? Oh, is it in D.C.?
I don't know.
D.C.
Which one
Sorry.
is it? Oh, it is in D.C.?
I don't know. Look it
I
up.
don't know either.
Somebody look it up.
I've never been there.
Very
Anyway,
iconic, obviously.
it's very iconic.
Very iconic, except in this family.
It is.
Exactly.
Forget
And
where
I
it is.
remember Nancy Pelosi, was under fire for giving them all of this money. And
Yeah.
she's just like, well, we like going there. Everyone
Yeah.
likes going there.
Oh, good.
And I mean,
The Kennedy Center has received $270 million since 2016.
yeah,
That's
a lot.
For what?
Their president is making $5 million a year, apparently.
that's
that's pretty
why.
good.
There we go.
How come I didn't get that job?
Yeah, if you can afford to pay people that kind of salary, then you should probably have a maintenance fund.
That'd be good.
Oh wait, the president has been made $5 million from 2016 to 2020. So he's only making about $1 million a year.
Oh, okay.
It's still a pretty high salary,
I would say so.
Million.
especially for government funded.
Million and a quarter, if that's the case. Well, yeah, I suppose it's about $1 million a year. That's close enough. But yeah, there's so much of that going on now, and what I don't understand is how both sides can argue the other side is pissing away all our money. How is that possible that both sides can be pissing away all of our money? Is that why we don't have any money left to give to people?
I
think so.
that America has always done very well and has
Yeah.
had a lot of money, and I think that the politicians just got used to throwing it wherever they wanted to make friends and to influence.
That is true.
And now our debt is just too high to continue on acting like money comes from trees. So
What are you going to do? But yeah, like I said, I don't watch a lot of national news. I don't watch a lot of local news either. I just don't watch the news a whole lot anymore because it just pisses me off too much to watch it because both sides are battling against one another because one side is spending a ton of money and then the other side's spending a ton of money. And basically, politicians keep an eye on all of them. How about that? Republican, Democrat,
That would
I don't
be
care what
nice.
you are. Let's just keep an eye on all of you because you all been pissing our money away for about 250 years now. So that's great.
yeah, Anderson Cooper's certainly all over the place.
Now, let me ask you a question about that. Andy and Alex, do you know about what Anderson Cooper did? Was it this morning or yesterday morning?
I don't know. It was
You-
either yesterday or
I don't think you can find two people less
Less tuned into the news.
tuned into the news
Yeah.
and politics.
well, this
than
is
Andy
all
and me.
over social
It's
media.
all
Then
over
who?
the place.
Less tuned in than who?
Oh,
No,
and
nobody
Andy and
is less
Alex.
tuned in than Andy and me.
that's right.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay.
Well, apparently he called a guest on his show And it was
He called Chris
broadcast television.
Sununu, whoever that is. Do you know who Chris Sununu is? That's
Yeah,
his
he's
guest.
former governor of New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. He
may
said,
still
"Don't
be.
be a dick to him."
Don't be a dick on national TV.
Right on his show.
Mm,
Yeah,
That's
apparently
rather interesting.
Sununu was defending the whole Doge effort, and he said they're finding billions, trillions, so many millions.
God.
And Anderson
Yark.
Cooper was like, "I don't see any evidence. Where's the evidence?" And the guy was trying to say that this is forthcoming. They've only been at this for a few weeks. Do you want the 10,000-page report, or do you want to wait,
Right.
for the evidence when it's compounded in a way that is understandable? And then he called him a dick.
He did. Indeed.
That's not really very nice when you've got.
no, it's rather unprofessional, I guess I would say.
Yeah, don't see. This is the thing. I mean, why would you have? Let's say you had a dance podcast. Why would you invite someone on that hates dance and wishes all dancers were dead, and then be mean to them?
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, that's the kind of thing that they do now on these interview shows, and I guess it's really good for going viral on social media, so you get a lot of clicks that way. But I don't know if that's the kind of attention you want.
It just
I'm not sure.
It just kind of shows you though, because people ask me this all the time, and they assume I'm one thing or assume I'm another thing, or the family's this or the family's that. Our family's never been totally locked into one party 100% anyway, whether it's Democrat, Republican, whatever it is. Do you think our family, the four of us, have ever been locked in on one side of the issue?
Definitely not.
No, I mean, we're, I guess, about as centrist as you can get. On some things we lean Democrat, on some things we lean Republican. So watching them battle it out is rather interesting. I guess we just asking you to stop pissing away our money. That's all we're asking from this family is stop pissing away all the money. That'd be good, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of what people voted for, and hopefully that's what's going to happen.
Hopefully that's what happens. We'll see.
Well, and the big argument that Elon Musk isn't an elected official. Well, neither is anyone in the IRS.
That's true.
Neither is anyone in the
people aren't
Department of
elected
Education. Most of these people are that IRS people. They're not voted in. They've got all of your information.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a stupid point
Judges
to
are
make.
appointed. Yeah. Elected
Yeah.
official means nothing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots
that
of
is
people
true.
have access to your information.
You sure do. I think that's what people are starting to realize is that, it turns out that our information isn't this secret thing that only the president knows. And
Right.
It's making them uncomfortable, but they don't really understand why.
No, now that they're cleaning up some voting rolls, they're finding people that have been not the voting rolls, the Medicare roll.
Oh, God, yeah.
Some people
Medicare
have been
fraud is
receiving.
rampant.
They're 150 years old, and sometimes the same Social Security number's been used on 6 or 7 people.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's been
Yeah.
going on for ages.
Unfortunately, we will take a break, be right back. Kristen Burt will join us right after this. For Brad, John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Brad Sean Bryant.
This is Brett Paul from Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley. We have always had a professional sales staff on our show floors, but recently have added a few more to the arsenal. Neil Hadding was a salesperson at Valley for over 2 decades, probably the best truck guy around. He left for a management position elsewhere, but decided to kick back and return to work with thousands of his old friends and customers. It's a similar story with Tim Condon. He spent many years in the sales and finance at Valley before spending time in Alaska. to the relief of many, many friends and customers who returned a few years back. Not a returnee, but a welcome addition to our seasoned staff is Charlie Fink. Charlie followed Neil to Apple Valley to head up the finance department. He is well known to many Twin City car customers after being in the business for over 3 decades. If you're looking for a familiar face or just the face of experience, visit one of these professionals at Jim Paul's Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or at valleycardealers.com.
Having their first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the United States, which is great. Get the 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them before they go. And the best-selling standard My Pillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com, use promo code TOM, or call 800-516-5146. But wait, remember the $75 free shipping rule? You remember that? Well, that ship has sailed because right now every order ships absolutely free. Oh, we still don't have music to go back into the show?
It's going to be a long time.
Okay, so there
you go.
That'll work. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, Kristen, it's a good thing that you're on this morning. We were just talking about the fact that the family pretty much is. Catherine and I are kind of that way. We've been Democrats, we've been Republicans, didn't like some things about the Democrats, didn't like some things about the Republicans. Are they ever going to invent a third party that we could join, or are we just kind of centrist? How do you argue it?
Going to bring in the entertainment party. How does that sound?
No, that's good, but I got to ask you one question before you do the entertainment party.
I hate politics.
Oh, no, I do too. We do. That's why, honest to God, we hate it, but you got to bring this stuff up because it is big. The top story today is big news about it's the money. Both parties just love to piss away our money. But in any case, so now I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh,
Well, we were going to have a third party, and I said, yeah, the entertainment party.
The entertainment party is going to be good, but can I, during the entertainment party, can I play the part of Anderson Cooper and say, Kristen, don't be such a dick? You know he said that, right?
No, I don't pay attention. Honestly, I'm
Good
just not paying
move.
attention. Yeah, I'm like, the
Good
best
move.
part for me is that I can live in my little entertainment bubble
Right.
and cover all the fluff that's happening in the world.
I love that because, honest to God, it's just, we'll close with this. I can't pick one myself. I can't pick a party. They both drive me nuts. There are some things I like about both of them, but they both drive me nuts as well. So I'm going to join the KB1, KB2 party and just, I got to read the news, obviously. I got to deliver the news on the show. And that was the biggest news this morning was the fact that Anderson Cooper called Chris Sununu a dick on national TV.
Nice.
It's like, what? That's a little interesting. But so what's going on in entertainment, Kristen Burt?
Lots of things in entertainment. Okay,
Thank God.
We've got our nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this one actually shocked me. You know, they always come up with this list. There's 14 nominees. They won't decide until the fall, like who they're actually voting on out of these 14. But Chubby Checker is finally in the mix. And first of all, he's still alive, just in case anyone's wondering, is he with us? Is he not? He's still alive. He's 83. But he's been eligible since 1985.
Oh, wow.
And this is his first nomination.
If people don't know, come on, baby, and let's do the twist.
Okay,
yeah. Twist. Yeah, baby, twist. That was one of the first songs I ever sang. I think I was on like a 9 or 10, maybe I was 11 years old in a band. I got to sing Let's Do the Twist, the Chubby Checker song.
Yeah. And he's considered I guess he has one other song. So he's considered a 2-hit wonder. So that's the rumor as to why he hasn't been nominated until now. But it just seems ridiculous.
You know what his second song was?
What was it?
Let's Twist Again like we did last summer.
Well,
Wait, that's the second song?
Yes.
yeah, his biggest UK hit, "Let's Twist Again," was released 1 year later.
Why did I think in my head that those were the same song? Like it was
Well,
late. Yeah.
I mean, they probably are.
But But can you go to a wedding or like a corporate party without
Right.
twist being played?
Right. Yeah.
It's always played at some point, even if people aren't up. People always get up and do it. It's just
I'm
one of
doing
those
the
classic
twist.
dances.
Well, everyone can do it. That's probably why.
Everyone can do it. Everyone knows the song. Doesn't matter the generation. At some point, you've heard it. Because even at nursery schools, I feel like that they play it like it's a clean song. The
Yeah.
kids can dance to it at a party.
It's
Away
fun.
you go.
Yeah.
Love it. Love Chubby Checker. Love the song.
Okay, so the other new nominees, like these are the freshmen that have never been nominated before. The Latin rock group Mana, Fish, as well as Outkast, Billy Idol, Bad Company, Joe Cocker, and the Black Crowes.
Oh, Joe Cocker. I miss
Cocker.
Joe Cocker's
Joe
dead.
Cocker's
I can't believe
and he has
hasn't
never been
in it.
nominated. And that's kind of the argument to having Chubby Checker get in this year. They're like, he's here, he can enjoy the honor.
Right.
Let's do it.
Right.
And then the 6 remaining nominees have been already on the ballot in prior years. So they're trying to still get in. Mariah Carey, Oasis, The White Stripes, Cyndi Lauper, Joy Division, and New Order, as well as Soundgarden.
Wow. That's a big
Some of them are surprising, right?
Yeah, they are.
You would at least figure Mariah Carey, maybe Cyndi Lauper would have already
Yeah.
been in there. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot
Definitely.
of those every year. It's like they're reaching back 40 years to
Right.
put more people in there that should have been in there for a long time. And it's like I feel like the year 2500, we're still going to be going back to the 80s.
Yeah.
More people that we forgot about to get into.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's
Be inducted.
interesting too for a long time, and I forget the percentage number, but a majority percentage, let's say 80% and above, was all men for a long time
Yeah.
in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
Oh,
they're kind of like, hey, we need to get some of these women in here because they've contributed to the music scene as well. So I think that's why we're seeing more women get nominated over the past few years.
I have a question for you. Barbara Streisand's in, isn't she? Even though she wasn't really a rock and roll figure.
Well, neither is Mariah Carey, really.
Right.
And Dolly Parton is in, and she
Right.
said originally, like, hey, I should only be in the Country Hall of Fame. But
Right.
I feel like now the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has become just, maybe they should change it to the Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
have more than one category.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
Is Barbara in? Does anybody know if Barbara Streisand's? Because she might be the greatest singer ever born, so she's not.
That's a good question. Because I remember the fuss when Dolly was
Right.
So this is specifically the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rock
Yes.
and Roll Hall of Fame.
She does not appear to be, no.
Really?
Not yet.
But it was a big rock and roll hit. It was a hit on all the rock and roll stations.
I think the problem is being called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, probably.
People are like, what is rock and roll? And you ask 100 people, you're going to get 100 definitions of what rock and roll is.
And rock and roll really isn't the music that is popular right now anyway.
No, it's not.
So that's why I feel like it should
Yeah.
just be the blanket like Music Hall of Fame at this
Yeah,
point.
I agree.
Do you guys know what she dealt with, Barbara Streisand, as a little kid?
No.
Her mother telling her she was ugly and that her sister
Yeah.
was beautiful.
Yes,
Oh.
constantly. She was
Yeah.
she was described as the ugly sister when she was a little girl.
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
You know, I've interviewed Barbara and she's beautiful. She really is.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with you 100%. Nicest person you'd ever want to talk to. She's weird. I mean, you can tell she's been kicked in the stomach a few too many times.
But she's
very
really
nice.
delightful. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
and it was probably, you know, on my bucket list of people that I've interviewed before. She's in my top 5 for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard the sister's reaction to that. Why did a sister step up and go, "Hey, wait a minute, it's my sister you're
It
talking
depends on
to."
what age we're talking about. I mean, were they like 6 and 8 or something like that? It's like you can't expect an 8-year-old to
She'd
step
be like, "Hey, mom."
you know, an 8-year-old's
to
going to be
fist
like,
fight.
"You're right, I am the pretty one."
Yeah, I suppose.
Let's
suppose
see.
you're right.
Barbara Streisand was born in 42.
God, you
Her
really?
sister.
She's up.
Oh well, for one, it's her half sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Who was born? I don't know when she was born, but it was significantly later. It's from her mother's remarriage. She got remarried in 1950, so it'd be at least 8 years.
Oh wow.
Oh,
There
okay.
might be some of that second family.
Rosalind Klein. Oh,
Dynamic going on.
she was born in 51, so she is 9 years younger.
Okay.
But yeah, the half sister thing sheds a whole lot of light on the issue.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
And so much was made about Barbara Streisand's nose, and even when she hit
Yeah.
Hollywood, of like, get your nose fixed. And if you look at her profile, that is a classic profile. You
Yep.
know that's Barbara, and I love
Yep.
that she didn't
Yes.
conform to what Hollywood wanted her to do. She's gorgeous.
The only thing she ever did that I didn't like was her Christmas album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the Jingle Bell?
Oh,
Bells.
jingle
Yeah.
bell, jingle
Jingle
bell,
bell,
jingle,
jingle,
jingle
jingle
bell.
bell.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the worst songs ever
You're right.
recorded. I'm like, why did that one eke out? You should have just left that one
That's true.
on the cutting floor.
My
kid.
friend was Barbara Streisand's personal assistant for quite a while and had some great stories to tell because
Oh.
she just is such an over-the-top personality and just really fun. And I think we've talked about it on this show before, but she has a mall in her basement of her Malibu compound.
A mall?
A mall.
You
And
can shop there?
you can shop there. So
Like anybody or just her?
well, I mean, she goes down there and has like collections. She has her own like little ice cream station, and there's like a doll area and like a card shop. And but when she's very well known for her dinner party. So it's like when you go to the dinner party, you're going to get a trip to the mall.
Oh, okay.
Do you have to pay?
You don't have to pay.
Oh,
No, that's
right.
No, and her awards are down there. And my friend said one day she called and she was like, "How many Grammys and Golden Globes do I have?" Like she was working on some sort of project, so my friend had to like go downstairs and like count all the awards and make sure that they had them and inventory them. But
I understand,
Wow.
but yeah, one of the great singers of all time, no question.
Yep.
yeah, she's incredible.
No doubt about it. So, are there any movies coming out that I want to go see? Do you know? The movies, seriously, they've not been very good lately.
We're watching Tubi. A lot of old,
Lot of
old
Tubi.
Tubi.
Tubi. Tubi just got a nice big boost after the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see those numbers? $800 million is what
What?
Fox and Tubi earned.
Well, so
For the
wait,
Super
Fox
Bowl.
owns Tubi?
They do.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I didn't
that's
know
why
that.
we saw the Super Bowl for free on Tubi. In fact, I don't have cable, so I wouldn't have been able to watch unless I signed up for, a live like YouTube TV or something like that. And so Tubi was a great way to go. And they got major revenue off of that. And I thought what was interesting was that Fox and Tubi showed two different shows after the Super Bowl. So if you were watching on Fox, they showed Rob Lowe's game show, The Floor.
Oh, okay.
But if you watched on Tubi, you saw their new original sitcom called The Z Suite with Lauren Graham.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's all over
So
the
that's
place.
what Bill and I watched after. And we're like, oh, that was fun.
Because, yeah, Tubi's free, right?
Tubi's free. It's considered the free ad-supported television, which was regular broadcast back in
Yeah.
the day for all of us.
It was all television until like
All
5 years
television.
ago.
Well, they
But now
have,
we call it fast.
they have loads and loads of classic movies on there. Just
Tons of
loads them.
movies.
Yeah,
Tons
they,
of TV shows.
Ethan's been watching Garfield and Friends on it.
Oh,
He's a big fan of Garfield and Friends.
love it.
Bill and I went through a Love Boat phase, and we were like, whoa, this show is so sexist. It's crazy.
Oh, is it really?
Oh my God. It's
I don't think
just
I've ever
like
seen it.
women belong in the kitchen type of humor.
Oh,
Which
God.
is just the 70s. And but we went through a whole phase like during the pandemic, and every night we would like sit down and watch Love Boat. And I was like, this is crazy that they could get away with some of these things.
Well, even these older movies that we were watching. So, what was the name of the murderess that was it? Jean Harlow. She played this. It was based on a true story. She was in California, and she was like the third woman that was sent to the gas chamber.
Oh, you're talking about
What
I
was her
think
name?
it is Gene Harlow.
Suzanne? No, Suzanne Hayward.
Susan Hayward.
Oh,
Susan Hayward played the role
That's
of phenomenal.
of a woman, Barbara something, I think, was the
Murder.
woman that was put to death.
It's called I Want to Live.
I Want to Live. Yes.
I Want to
you're
Live.
right.
Three people ended up being convicted and sent to the gas chamber for the same murder.
Follows the life of Barbara Graham.
Barbara
Oh.
Graham.
There you go.
And one of the headlines was woman sentenced to death for her freewheeling party life. That wasn't why she was sentenced to
You're
death.
like,
Okay.
wait a minute.
But because she was a woman, she can't have a freewheeling party life. She has to
my
be
God.
killed for
You're like,
that.
who wrote that description?
I know. I was just
Was
like,
it some
what?
intern? Like, or
then
was it
all-
AI? Was it
Yeah.
AI writing it?
And then almost every black and white movie, I swear, almost every one, a woman is getting slapped in the face. Just slap
They're
her.
hysterical.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is kind of amazing how
Yeah.
sexist they are.
Tom, are you watching your SAG screeners for the SAG Awards? You have a ton
No.
of movies.
Yeah, there's a ton of I have started watching, and movies right now are not very good. There's some there. What's the best movie out right now? Do you think, Kristen?
Sonic 3.
What did
What?
you say?
Sonic 3.
Oh, Sonic
Oh,
3.
Sonic.
I was
We
like,
haven't even watched it, and we probably never will. I heard it's a little intense for a 3-year-old.
yeah. No, I mean, at the movie theater, I mean, there's so much still that's like in the Oscar. That's why I was like, you should watch some of your SAG screeners, like Nora, The Brutalist. There's a lot of good things that are in the running. The Apprentice. We have all of those in our SAG screeners.
They're all in there.
Yeah, you just need to get your PIN code and download
yeah.
them. You watch them off of the they have like a nominating platform, but you can watch it on your TV. So
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
even send the discs anymore, do they?
no, it's such a waste. It's so expensive, and so
Yeah.
they don't do the DVD screeners anymore.
Mhm.
And way too easy to share.
Yes.
That's true.
Yep.
Oh,
No, you're not
And if
supposed
they
to.
catch, because they do, when they did hand out the DVDs, they encoded it with your SAG number. And if you got busted, like if you handed it to a friend and they uploaded it to the internet, tell you, you would get nailed.
Mm.
I got to be honest with you, though. At this point in my life, I'm very happy that I worked on SAG and AFTRA for so many years because their benefits are really good. I mean, they really are. There's
If
no
you
doubt
can get
about
them now, yes.
Oh, you can't
Back
get
in
them
the day-
anymore?
Well, it's a lot harder. The threshold is a lot
Oh,
higher.
I didn't know that.
For health insurance and things like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
they went through a major health insurance crisis during the pandemic and kicked off of a lot of retired SAG-AFTRA members off
Oh.
the healthcare plan because you used to
Oh.
get guaranteed health care. You don't anymore.
Oh,
You have
I
to
didn't
still
know
keep
that.
on working. Yeah.
Oh, there were thresholds when you were working.
They were
voiceover.
low though.
Yeah, they were very low.
They were
yeah.
low. Yeah,
No
now
question
they're-
about it.
Now they're a lot tougher to achieve. Very few people wind up on the health insurance now, unfortunately.
It is too bad, actually. Unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know why they operate that way, but they do.
Well,
Whatever.
If you think of so many people that are trying to break into the business, they've got, usually 2 to 3 other jobs just so that they can afford to be an actor. And
Yeah.
none of
Yeah.
those pay health insurance benefits either. So-
Right. And the jobs are very few and far between because we're seeing a major nosedive in the studios. I mean, Disney Plus cutting $1 billion off of their budget. So that's
Oh.
Disney Plus, ABC. Yeah, $1 billion.
Well,
less
so wait,
that
this
they're
is
spending.
Disney as a whole, though?
Disney
because-
as a whole is spending $1 billion less on creating content for the next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Yep.
but what's $1 billion to them? Like lunch money?
Yeah.
It is, but understand to us here in Los Angeles, that's $1 billion worth of jobs.
Yeah.
Crew and cast. That is a huge amount. So that means that less people are going to be working. And that's been,
Yeah.
especially in Los Angeles, they have a whole campaign right now, Stay in LA, really trying to convince studios to at least just produce 10% of their productions here. Think of how little that number is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is true.
Everything's about the bottom line, though.
Yep, indeed it is.
Yep. They want to stay open at all.
Yeah, I suppose that is true. But, one thing about that whole situation, I just, I've been a SAG-AFTRA member my entire life because I did a lot of voiceover and all the rest of it. Until, of course, I started doing voiceover in L.A., and then the L.A. office turned on me because I wasn't from Los Angeles, so they didn't like that.
And now it doesn't matter. So, and now it's all
Oh, it used to.
non-union.
Oh, it is non-union
A
now,
lot
isn't
of
it?
it's non-union. I mean,
It
if you
is,
go
right.
and look through like the casting notices, I'd say about 90% is non-union now.
Really?
That's too
After we had
bad.
a very well-publicized commercial strike in 2000, so now we're going back 25 years. We, as a union, did not recover from that. And that's where a lot of
Yeah.
companies just said, you know what? We're just going to go non-union. That was 6 months long, that strike. And it produced very few positive results.
That's unfortunate because that was a great job back in the day. Voiceover back in the union days was a phenomenal job. Jeez.
Back in the day, people lived off of their commercial earnings.
Yep.
Can't do that anymore. I mean, you're lucky now, like one commercial at best will get you like $10,000. where
that's too bad.
campaigns formerly gave actors $100,000 per year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It did.
Yeah.
All right, any closing words, sister?
Well, Z Suite, since I mentioned it, if anyone's
Yeah.
looking for a fun comedy, Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls, Parenthood. I know a lot of people enjoy her, but it's about divided the generations, Gen Z versus Gen X at an advertising agency. So a lot of fun, and it's free on Tubi right now.
Magnificent. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to NABanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Take a break. Very special guest coming up. Not that Kristen Bird's not a very special guest, don't get me wrong.
So special.
Very special guest coming up right after this. South Dakota, one of the most business-friendly states in the country, and there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls. As the state's largest city with a metro population over 290,000 people, Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state corporate or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. South Dakota ranks among the top 10 states in the U.S. for tax friendliness, hardest working, healthcare and doctors, most popular to move to, inbound state for movers. There's no question. A lot of people are moving to South Dakota. Listed in the 50 best places to live for families, so that's good. The fastest growing Midwest metro, one of the best places to raise a family, one of the best small cities for Gen Z workers, national fourth top inbound city that people move to. It is a wonderful town, no question about it. Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Well, all of South Dakota is great. And North Dakota too, by the way, but South Dakota in this case. How does South Dakota stack up against the other states? Well, they rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Visit www.siouxfallsdevelopment.com. It's Tom for Wellshire, Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Facilities. Wellshire Alzheimer's and Dementia Care Memory Care Facilities we're talking about are a place where your loved one will live with pride and dignity. If you care deeply about someone in your life, Wellshire is the place I highly recommend. Wellshire is a memory care-focused facility that has a full nursing team, always staffed within the building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have never used or relied on any staffing agencies. I've known the family for 2 generations now. Very, very good people. Wellshire in Medina is now accepting elderly waivers after 12 months of private pay. Like I said, I've known them personally forever, and they are a family-owned local company conveniently located right in Medina and Bloomington. They are the best staffed memory care facility in the state. Wellshire has a robust community with activities 7 days a week, as a matter of fact. If your loved one is in need of a memory care facility, please get in touch with my friends at Wellshire. Set up a tour or learn more at wellshiremn.com. That's WEALSHIREMN.com.
All right, we are doing our best to get Jimmy set up.
All right. Oh, Alex hit the road, did she, or she's setting up Jimmy?
No, she's just setting him up.
Oh, she's setting up Jimmy. Okay.
Yes.
Why? What's the problem?
I don't know. I think it's because it's the Hubbard laptop, and they probably had to spend 5 or 10 minutes typing in that password.
Who's this now? Golden Valley Country Club Alex must be going to dinner at Golden Valley Country Club because he just called me about reservations.
Don't you mean the club?
The club. Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Can't call it a country club anymore.
Oh, that's right. You can't call it a country club anymore, but it still says GVCC. So Golden Valley Critical Care. What else could it be?
Well, there are businesses that call me that use, like, for some reason the caller ID is still the name of the business from like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know what that's
That
all
does
about.
happen.
It's weird.
See, next time we should set up that laptop and microphone before the show starts. What do you think?
I don't know. It's like it's broken or something. She's trying the other one. Good thing we have 70 laptops in this studio.
Once again, let's set that up before the show starts. That'd be a much better time to do it. Don't you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, I would think so. So what else is happening? Well, see, this is a good time to talk about anything in the news that you wanted to talk about.
RSV is everywhere, including inside of me.
Yeah, let me hear about that. Now, I heard that your family has RSV. Now, what is RSV? I don't even know what that is.
What does it stand for? Something virus. Respiratory syncytial virus? I don't know. Just call it RSV.
I don't believe that was a thing when you kids were little.
Apparently it was, but no one really cared. It's basically just a cold, and if you didn't get tested for it and knew better, you would never know it's not just a cold.
Oh.
So there's that. I mean, like, if not for Ethan getting tested, I would assume we all had colds because that's what it feels like.
Oh, really?
Sinuses hurt, throat hurts. You don't sleep very well, but then during the day you feel okay.
Well, can you give it to other people?
Yes, it's fairly
That's not
contagious,
good.
especially when you have a toddler who coughs directly in people's faces.
Well, that's not good at all.
Very good way to spread it. Yes, but for anyone over the age of probably 6 months, maybe a year, and under the age of, I don't know, probably like 80, it's not a big deal at all.
Why don't we do the break here since they're still trying to set that thing up? Why don't we do the break here and then we can come
We
back
just
after
came out
that?
of a break.
Why'd you follow my lead on the show?
What?
Let's
We
get things set
literally
up.
just came out of a break.
Well, I know, but it'd be whatever. But seriously, get
we can
that all
talk.
set up. Let's get it all set up before the show even starts. That's what you're supposed to be doing, not while the show is going on.
Well,
This is a good argument we can have about doing broadcasting and
are.
all that good stuff.
it all looks good now.
It'll all work out in
Just
the end.
getting in their seats.
All right, then you can bring them all up on the screen.
Bloop.
There's Jimmy.
What's
Where's Alex?
Alex is coming.
Oh, she is coming. Okay. Oh, look at Jimmy trying to look all professional. What's this now? He's got a tie on.
I wear a tie and a blue suit every day.
That's
Why?
true. It's the blue suit. It's his thing.
It's his
Remember?
brand.
It's a hashtag, blue suit.
There's
Yeah.
Alex. Okay, so were you not able to use one of the laptops, Alex?
No, it just one of them. It needed to be updated and then shut down and restarted, and then
Yeah,
I
it's
started using
always
the
fun.
other one, and then the first one started working. We're good.
Yep. That's
It's
how it goes.
all working
That's what
out.
happens when you don't use these things for like 2-3 weeks. Is
Yes.
you takes them a while to wake back up.
It's kind of
But,
cool. As an
Jimmy,
outsider.
as I pointed out to the family, let's get that set up before the show starts from now on.
Show prep.
Show prep, baby. That's all I have to say. What are you doing? What are you taking a picture of?
Nothing.
Himself.
Oh, here are you taking a picture of yourself?
No, I take it of all the cameras on me right now. There's like 5 cameras turned towards me.
Only one of them is working.
Only one is functional. Don't worry.
I'll take some calls from the press. Go ahead.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Francis, sponsored by Josh Arnold, by the way. Did you see that? That's
Pretty
pretty cool.
important.
Well,
Great American.
The money tie. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Get it all works out in the end. So,
You
Jimmy,
see
what
that?
have you been up to? Oh, look at that. He's got his money tie on. I
Josh
like it.
Arnold.
Mr. Money Tie.
That's right.
Mr. Money Tie.
Every
Yeah,
time
Mr.
I
Money
wear
Tie.
this tie, I get somebody buys me lunch.
They do?
Actually,
Yeah, actually.
I need one.
Yeah. It's great. It's my lunch tie.
My
So,
lunch.
Jimmy, how have you
Sometimes I
been?
know when someone's going to buy me lunch, and I just wear it because I know I'm going to get a free lunch.
No.
I like it.
You only
Nothing
wear it
wrong
on your
with
birthday then.
No? Well, I wear it on different days.
As a coincidence, this tie I always only
yeah.
wear on my birthday.
I
I always
get
get
free
cake.
meals. It's, yeah.
No question. So, Jimmy, what have you been up to, Pally?
Well, my daughter Josephina and her team are going to state for dance. They
Oh,
got,
my God. Uh-oh, Alex, you got to be listening to
Oh
that one
boy.
big time.
Okay. How old is she?
She's a senior, so she's 17.
Senior. Is this school
Yes,
dance?
school
Okay.
dance, and so they
Okay.
got in sections. They won first for jazz and second for kick,
Wow.
and so they're ranked number I think 7. This is just a dance line, Dad. I don't know any of the details. I just
Okay.
shell out the money and just
Yes.
show up and hold the seats. And
Yeah. In dance, there's a lot of shelling out of.
so
money.
we're going to state tomorrow, or yeah, they go tomorrow.
Where's that at?
The Target Center. The
Okay.
big stage is Target Center.
Wow,
Nice.
So that has been our life for the past, I don't know, 3
12
weeks.
years.
Well,
Yeah.
it is, but the 3
Yeah.
weeks leading up to this, because they've been doing so good at all their
Yeah.
competitions.
What school does she go to?
South St. Paul.
South St. Paul. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Packers.
She's 17. She can drive herself.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's that's kind of
that's-
been our life. I don't know what else is going on. There's a
Well, Catherine would know about that being your life, but Alex, of course, is going through that being her life now, too. Because she's got a couple of children, and her daughter is big into dance, is she not?
Yeah. She has a dance competition this weekend.
How
and
old?
She's 8.
she's 8.
Yes. So she does competition team. And
Fun.
she has a competition this weekend where she's just doing her solo, and she's supposed to dance around like 2:15, and the awards aren't until 7:15.
Love those
God.
days.
And I'm like, maybe
Those are
we'll
great days.
Maybe we'll skip the awards.
No, gotta make it. Now, do you have a stadium chair? Do you sit in a stadium chair?
Well, the nice thing about competition dances is always at theaters.
Oh, okay. So they're up on the stage.
So they're
You're
up
in a
on
nice
stage
chair. I
and you're
gotcha.
in a nice chair. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not in gymnasiums
Yes.
like
Yeah.
school
Oh,
dances. Yeah.
Wow.
But my son did flag football and we got those foldable,
Yeah.
because you go to high schools and you're sitting on the bleachers, and we got the folding camping chair things
Those
that
are
you
nice.
put on the seat.
It's a must.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. They should make it for kids though, because like my daughter, when she comes to watch the flag football, she can't fit in one. It's too big. It like closes in on her.
Get her one of those inflatable plastic things that you know,
Don't they usually just snuggle with you?
or that.
Not on a metal bleacher.
I would hope not.
There's no real
Like,
way
wanna
to.
sit on your lap and like be with mom?
Kind of. Sometimes it depends.
Yeah.
She moves around a lot though. Like she'll be like, I don't
Plus, I think she's getting way too cool for a lot of
What
stuff.
What's going on down in Florida?
yeah.
Just kind of hanging out. We don't tell you about the temperature down here because you'll just get pissed off at us. So, you
Though
know.
there was a fun gas leak today.
Yeah, there was a gas leak today on our walk. That was
That's
nice.
exciting.
Yeah, we're coming down the road and where it's like, how many fire?
About 5 or 6 fire trucks.
You want them there. You want as many as you
So
can get there.
many, and then we could sort of see. I thought it looked like they were blowing out a fountain.
Yes, that's
There
what it
was,
looked like.
It was actually, you could see it.
Wow.
And apparently that was the gas leak.
Where was
Holy
it?
cow.
Right near the Phillips Point on Flagler Drive, by that little park. By
So it
that
was
little,
like north.
Just before the bridge.
No,
It's
just
just before the bridge on Okeechobee.
Oh, on Okeechobee. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Near Flagler Drive.
yep.
Near Flagler
On
Drive.
Flagler Drive.
On
We
Flagler
went.
Drive.
We were down there a couple of weeks ago for the Minnesota breakfast in Naples, and it was crappy weather. I think we brought the bad weather. We actually got snowed out of Atlanta.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
you were here
Yep.
for that.
Well, I didn't. Yeah, thankfully I have an inside person who helps us make sure we're navigating those flights, and he said, make sure your flight leaving Atlanta is on time. And we looked at that, and it was canceled. So we didn't fly there and wait. We canceled and changed. But man, it's kind of been not the greatest weather.
There was a 10-day period here where
Yeah, it wasn't very
they had
nice.
snow for the first time in over
Yeah.
100 years.
Yes,
and all
that
this
was
stuff.
the other
But that's
thing.
all gone now. Now it's 80 and beautiful, and
Okay.
birds are having babies.
Wow.
It's so amazing. I heard because I lived in Jacksonville, Florida, worked at WAPE, the Big Ape in Jacksonville, Florida, about 100 years ago. But it actually snowed in Jacksonville. I had never heard of that happening
Wow.
before.
I think it was the first time in like 100-something years.
100 some years. Yep. Yep. That's
Well-
exactly right.
Tom, I'm going to say something very crazy, and I think you all should just hold your response and think about it a little bit.
Okay.
But I think you should be King Boreas for the Saint Paul Winter Carnival. You would have so much fun being King Boreas,
King Boreas.
and your family would have so much fun. Your grandkids would have so much fun. That the snow around, I always joke about that anywhere in Florida or anywhere else. It's because King Boreas made it happen.
So,
And-
question now: when is that?
That is the first or the last full week of January.
Oh yeah.
For
Okay.
those who don't know anything about what you're talking about,
The St. Paul Winter Carnival? Oh, let me tell you.
and why the
for
King
asking
Boreas
that.
and all that stuff.
Thanks.
So it's a legend. So St. Paul Winter Carnival is the longest winter festival in the nation. It's
Okay.
139 years old, and they penned a legend in the 30s that was King Boreas and Queen Aurora come to the 7 hills of St. Paul, and he makes it his winter playground. And he has his brothers, the winds, the north, east, west, and south wind. They all come and cavort around St. Paul and have a gay old time in St. Paul for 10 days. And then Vulcanus and his fiery crew, they come and bring the heat and force King Boreas on good counsel of Queen Aurora. They return to Mount Olympus, and summer then prevails. And then that cycle happens 140 times next year.
See, now I've been to the Winter Carnival several times, and I never knew any of this. So I'm glad that we got
And
this
then they have-
explanation.
So in the legend, there's also a prime minister, and I've played that role in 2010, and they are the spokesperson for the carnival family. They introduce everybody, and then there is the royal guards who protect the realm, and there's usually 5 to 7 of those, and then there's a Klondike Kate, and she is the songstress of merriment, and Klondike Kate kind of brings the fun, and she rides the rail between both the royal family and the Vulcans, because she's kind of a naughty gal.
I feel like 4,000 years from now, they're going to dig something up related to this and determine that Minnesotans had a religion based around these people.
Cults of-
It's been called a cult.
King Boreas was the god of the Minnesotans.
Mhm.
They believed that he lived in the realm of Saint Paul.
Yes.
And what's the deal with the medallion? You hide a medallion. Why do we hide a medallion?
That was
this-
a Pioneer Press. It started as the Pioneer Press a long time ago, and actually,
Oh.
it's been fun to learn of people whom I know who were clue writers that write a clue for 10 days. They hide the medallion and then put out clues in the newspaper. It used to be to buy more newspapers, but now they've changed it to anybody can do it. And you pay a fee to be part of it, because you don't get the 10 grand if you're not part of used to be you buy a button. Now that doesn't matter. You have to be registered with the Pioneer Press and a
pony
member,
up.
subscriber.
Okay.
But anybody can go find it and go look for it, and that's always fun. There's been some interesting times over the years, and I'm one of 11 kids, so my dad used to bring us out and just go around, and we'd look, and he'd think he knew where it was, and he'd have us all digging, and it wasn't there, and so then he'd pull out a gold coin out of his pocket, and he'd say, "Hey, tuck this in that tree," like some little. So the next guy that came down there, maybe find something. Then we'd all go get a cheeseburger and go home. It's good times.
Yeah.
I had a little job there for the Winter Carnival, and I don't even remember how I got it. I was playing music in the Landmark Center.
Oh, sure.
There was this, I don't know.
That serves
were
as King
broadcasting
Boreas' headquarters during the 10 days of Carnival. It's so grandiose, like a castle.
I went to high school there.
Yeah, and I remember having some official kept coming in and yelling at us that the music was too loud. So of course we'd turn it down when he left, we'd turn it back up because he was such a jerk.
What years was this?
Oh, it was a long time ago. Can't even remember.
30s and 40s?
Yeah, maybe 20.
Yeah, there you go, 30s and 40s. So how do you get picked to be King Boreas?
That currently and has traditionally been through the Star of Boreas, which are the former Boreae. And
Boreas.
that is, Leo Lewis is a former King Boreas, and
Okay.
John Bennett and Tom Leonard, Fury Motors. There's been quite a few. Bill Foussard from White Bear Lake.
Is there a pageant?
There is a pageant. That's my favorite part. And when people say, "What's Carnival?" and I say, "Well, you should come to Coronation, because there's 1,000 people in the room that serve dinner, and then they watch the pageant happen. And the king is not known, but he's picked, and the winds are known, but the princesses and the queen is not. So that's where they kind of do a elimination aspect there, and then finally crown each of the wind princesses." And to me, that's the most fun, because it has all these old people who have been in it for all the years. And, it's like old home for them. So they come back, and even if they don't know you, they pretend they know you, because they know so many people, or there's so many people, like how you're connected to it. And it's just bringing in more people like yourself that aren't Carnival people is pretty magical at times, because they get to experience what we have been doing, what I've been doing since 2010. My wife has been doing it since 2000.
Wow.
So she just celebrated her 25-year out. I just celebrated my 15-year out. And there's just lifelong friends, and just such great connections that happen. And of course, business. Now, you may not have business to do as King Boreas, but your job is to kind of promote Saint Paul, and you go to Tallahassee, you go to Canada, you go to Bradenton, Florida, you go to the Georgia, you go to the Pasadena. So all of these festivals throughout the country come, and the world, because Canada's there.
Mhm.
They offer you to come back to theirs, and then you go represent St. Paul at all of those. And so it is a super fun ambassador job that doesn't pay anything. You actually have to pay to do it.
There you go. Yeah.
But that's part of the sponsorship, where sponsorship stuff comes in, and
Sure.
and it really, again, it's compounds so many, So just for instance, my wife was a queen, her sister was a queen, her sister-in-law was the queen the same year I was the prime minister. That queen, the sister-in-law, her son is King Frost this year, and her brother is the North Wind this year. So like it just like I said, it compounds. Like people around you like see how fun it is and want to be part of it and
I feel like I need a flow chart.
pull themselves.
Flow chart. All right, we do have to take a break here. See, we'll be right back in just a couple of seconds. Jimmy Francis with us talking about the Winter Carnival in the lovely city of Saint Paul, Minnesota. Minneapolis, Saint Paul, what a great area. I just love it. Let's take a second to talk about my bank. That'd be North American Banking Company. If you own a business or are thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to anybanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming, but what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation, and like I said, the guy knows what he's talking about. Josh and I have talked about it many, many times. He's right on the money. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future, and I'll repeat that. 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's a big part of it. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold, Investment Consultant, LLC, Security Investment Advisor. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. We are about do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm going to start humming songs on our way back in. Jimmy Francis in studio. We're talking about the Winter Carnival. We're talking about... Jimmy, how long have I known you now?
Oh, boy.
It's been a long
Well,
time.
I've been the mayor of South St. Paul this is my 9th year. I've known you all that time.
Yep.
Because we cooked your birthday, your 70th birthday at cooked for you.
I wonder if I can find out when you were first on the podcast. I might be able to.
I was
maybe.
original. Don't you remember? Like I was original to get Carl's podcast going. So when you started the podcast
Yep.
with Mishki, so it was before then. So remember that those guys we went to O'Gara's, which is I think the last time that they had a band at their stage.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was
Yep.
it was Mishki's group. You guys came.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
Somebody
John
told me
Shelby was
Mishki's-
up there harping and.
Somebody told me Michi's going to do a new podcast or something. He's doing something new. I can't remember who mentioned it to me.
he
I
had
just
one, I think.
heard on this last one that would be his last podcast or his last road show, but I didn't hear where he was going.
Yeah, somebody was talking. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have chirped on about that, but I just was talking about Mishki. Yeah, he's a hell of a talent. There's no question about it. Musician. He's a good speaker. He's a very, very bright
He's
guy
nuts.
too. Does a good job.
He's nuts. There's
Well, he
no
is nuts.
doubt
That's
about
true.
it.
That's true. You're absolutely
Anybody that does this, half of the things that he does, they're nuts.
right. You're getting
And a fun nuts though.
Yeah, fun nuts. That's a whole different deal. There's no question about it. So, what else is going on in the world, Jimmy?
Well, I just driving in and I was listening to a radio station where they were talking about the governor of Minnesota maybe potentially going for a third term as our governor, and I thought I was going to research that just because I don't know when the last time when they turned it to 4 years, how long ago that was.
Yeah, that
But
might
to
be
have
a while.
To have a governor, a third-term governor, and it'd be Tim Walz. That would be an interesting year. 26 is going to be an interesting year. I thought last year was an interesting year. I was
Right.
in an election last year, and that was an interesting year. Ugh.
You know, it's so interesting. Speaking of the word interesting, honest to God, we, before the show started, were looking at some. I don't watch the national news much anymore. I watch local news, but I don't watch the national much anymore because you want to talk about two sides divided.
Oh.
My God, they don't. You cannot possibly get a story read to you from either side
No.
that doesn't contain all their personal feelings about it.
And I don't have to tell you all that people today do not value success.
No, they do not. You're absolutely right.
It
You're
is
100%
changed. And when
right.
we were growing up, you looked up and you saw a guy in a tuxedo or a woman in a gown, and you're like, wow, how do you do that? And it's like,
Yep.
oh, you work hard and you do this and you got that. And and people do that. And even if they didn't get that far, they would still glamorize, they dressed up when they traveled. They wore nice things to work, right? Now people are wearing sweatpants on the airplane, in their
If
pajamas.
you're lucky.
Yeah. and success is vilified, and I don't get it. And it's part of, to me, it's part of the political system that has done that. And somewhere in there is where the answer lies to how that became that way. But I mean, again, you don't get credit for doing good things.
No,
it's
not anymore. No.
Nope. And the cancel culture, if you call it that, is fast.
Yep.
It's swift.
It is.
And the Facebook court and the jury and executioner.
Yes, exactly.
Am I right? Because that's like, again, you've been part of it. You
Oh,
feel
God,
it
yeah.
and get caught up in it as well. Because then it's in your feed, and your friends who you love and care about are saying these things about somebody else that's just whatever it is. You can imagine them all, and then they want you to respect them, or they want you to I don't know. I just quietly unfollow. Matter of fact, I've personally this year I have not. My last post was last year in 2024 Christmas time, around Christmas time, for Facebook.
Yeah.
I do have a mayor's page on Facebook, but I'm segueing out. I'm not.
I understand.
Yeah, I got a Facebook when Donald Trump ran the first time.
Wow, that's a while ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Well, you
they're-
haven't.
They act
you haven't missed
nuts.
much.
No, yeah,
Everyone
I
acts
left in 2020.
insane.
Yeah, I was like, I just can't.
Yeah, and then
And to keep up,
yeah, some
right?
stuff. Yeah, and then some stuff was going on at KQ, and there were people just attacking left and right, and I was like, I can't be on this stuff. I can't do it.
That's a great example of social media and Facebook. Somebody puts Tom Barnard retired. Well, did you tell Tom Barnard that he retired?
Well, that was Cumulus that did that to me. They said that I retired.
It's out now, right? And so
Yep.
the toothpaste is out, and it takes how long for you to get back into people realizing that you're not out there, or that you are, but you're whatever. And then you got to go on Facebook, you got to go on X, you got to go on
Instagram,
Insta.
TikTok.
You have to have TikTok, right? How do you do it? How does people do it that you're just
It's what they do. That's why.
Yeah, they're
it is what
influencers.
they do. Well, it's like Mark Twain, one of my favorite Mark Twain quotes. A lie travels halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
there you
true.
go. That's very
Well, we were
true.
watching. Was it the Super Bowl? And there was a TikTok. There was an ad for TikTok.
Yes.
About how all of these people make their entire living off of
Yeah.
having a TikTok.
People can do that.
Yep.
It's not that many people though.
I guess it's a lot.
There are people that make a lot of money.
That's the thing about TikTok. It's one of those things where if you do really well, you do really well.
Yeah, like YouTube. It's like,
But if you're not in the top, 0.1%, then you're not really making anything.
What's amazing to me about that whole thing is that why don't people, and I've been asking this since I was about 4 years old, I think, because I would see, you know, my mother and father getting arguments about this, that, and the other thing, and this, you know, it was just, it's been going on forever. Why don't people understand? We didn't all grow up the same. We are not all the same. We don't think of the same on every issue. I'm different than you are. Could I, you know, trust you and honor you? You trust me and honor me. We have different views of life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something to hate people for. We came up differently, you know? Just because it's a perfect way for you to head doesn't mean that everybody has to go that way. We're different. Calm down.
Yeah, and the idea that everybody wants to know that. Everybody wants to know what Jimmy thinks about this, or Bobby, or whoever, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
nobody cares. You know, it's
I know.
right. We all have our cares, but it's and when they continue to do it, and I love the thing I love about any of those platforms is the losing myself in it, the imagination and the creativity and the entertainment aspect of it. It is nothing. No one's. I've never voted for somebody because I saw an ad on there.
Right.
I've never not voted for somebody because somebody told me they were an evil person. Right. I do my own stuff. I'm out there looking for old cartoons and
There you go.
right stuff that makes you laugh.
Absolutely.
Like, for me,
Yep.
it's echoing back to a time where, you know, like, well, I think of Annie. It comes into my mind, the Annie, the musical. You know, and Daddy Warbucks, and we all looked up to Daddy Warbucks, right? And he helped this little girl, and right, it's like they had a song and dance, and right, you lose yourself in that imagination of all that. But now that's not a thing. Nobody that wants you to be a TikTok star. You know, they're mad at you for doing it, right?
Yeah, for succeeding.
It's for succeeding, right? And you're just selling your wares. They're like, stop, don't buy this. It's, you know, they're so terrible and blah blah blah. It's like, jumping, man. We got to get back to a central. I don't know what attitude. You know.
Do you think that people assume that if you succeeded, it's because you cheated at something? That's the only way you can succeed is by cheating.
Again, that's the narrative that gets pushed out right away.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Oh, he's spoiled, or they've got blah blah. You know, they
Right.
point it to something that is that, right?
I don't know why.
Making it seem like
Maybe
it's
they worked harder than you did.
Well, the saying about the overnight success that took 30 years to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. I'm glad you brought that up, Jimmy, because it's one of those situations I've never understood. I didn't grow up the same way you did. We think differently about some things. Just calm down. Like Alex has to leave right now.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be
Go-
mad at
she has to go
her.
shape young minds.
She does.
Yes, she
indeed.
does. I love it. Well, good to see you. Yes, and you know, as a dance dad of a 17-year-old, it's only going to get more fun and more expensive.
Yeah, it's more expensive too.
Oh, it's crazy. They
That
don't
is
even
a
let me
fact.
see the dance costume stuff. You know.
Are you lucky that you've got she has a nice group of people to dance with?
Oh my!
It's not a lot of drama.
Oh, there's always drama. There's always drama. Teenagers, there's drama. PTA or parents, there's always drama. You know, and I'm a smile guy. Let's go.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep.
Here I can help you. I'll be there to do the concession stand. I'll be there to be the security to hold the door. I know, you know, because I've been to enough of them how it works. You know, you go and do all these things, and then you have to host one too. So you need all the volunteers, and it's a good fundraiser for them, and you know,
Sure.
all that. That's where the drama comes in, all the stress,
Yeah.
and all the stuff. But the students, the kids are tremendous. They're all, and they've mentored and gone out during the football season and during these other times of the year to get other kids to come and dance with them.
Nice.
And so they've really built a program that, you know, these 10 seniors are leaving, but they fill it in with like 14 other kids that are coming in.
Right.
That's great.
So we have one boy who's on the team who is an unbelievable dancer. He lives in South St. Paul, but he goes to a school in St. Paul for the arts. And so he petitioned back because they don't offer a dance, and he's able to dance with the dance line. And it is just so cool to watch. You know, all of them dance together and complement each other. And then, you know, build each other up at the end. You know, and
That's really nice.
it is. It's we
Nice
know
job.
there's injuries, right? There's been injuries with kids and how they kind of rally around them to tell them it's okay, and then how those that have injuries say, you know what, I'm just going to pull myself out and let you guys do this thing, right? And as a support, because it's crushing on one hand that they're not going to compete at the final end, but
Right.
on the other hand, it's like I don't want to jeopardize my chance at the big
Right.
show in 2 years or whenever they're going to be a senior, so it's the kids themselves have been just fun to watch, and the parents again are the same good people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm really glad you brought that up because we only got a couple of minutes left of the show, but I wanted to thank you again for that because you and I are a perfect example of that. We did grow up in big families, but that's about the only thing we have in common.
Yeah.
I'm from Minneapolis, you're from St. Paul, this, that, blah,
Probably
blah,
radio. I tried
Yeah,
to
right.
I
Yeah.
tried to follow your path,
I try to follow you. But people need to understand we are not the same. Calm down.
Yeah.
People are who they are. Relax. We'll get through it. I have great friendships. I mean, with a number of people. I've had friends say to me, how do you like that guy? I said, well, he's a friend of mine just like you are. Oh, he's nothing like me. I said, that's true. He's nothing like you, but he's still my friend. And you're my friend, so calm down.
Yeah, that's Angie Craig is a prime example in my world.
Yeah.
Where people say, "Oh, you're just posing for a picture," and a picture isn't an endorsement. The naysayers, and it's like, yeah, right. But she's my friend.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
worked together. She's gotten stuff for our city. I have appreciated her for that. Anytime somebody has an issue or a concern, she's willing to take the call. She's willing to come and show up. She does show up. Amy Klobuchar, the same thing. It's like they're doing the work, and I'm not trying to glom onto them or them glom onto me like they would, but we're friends, and we can be friends with different attitudes and different roles, and we don't have to agree on everything, right? I'm not a party person at all. I have no party. I'm South St. Paul, right?
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
but I have to work with everybody. I have to work with Jason Lewis when Jason Lewis was in that same seat as
Right.
Yep. And I respect him the same way. He's got his values and he's got his life and things that he does. And, Angie has hers, but somebody listening to this will say, I can't believe you respect Jason Lewis. He's
I know.
or whatever.
I've
And
known
then
Jason
and for me and you, we're done. You're dead to them, basically.
But I know both of you. I mean, seriously, Jason Lewis, I've known forever. I've known you forever. You're completely different people. But I think the world of both of you. You're totally different. What has that got to? You have to be exact. You have to believe exactly what I believe, or I hate you.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's not fun.
No, it's not fun.
We need more fun, and that's why, again, I think you would make a fun, great King Boreas.
King Boreas.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a lunch sometime with a couple of the old Boreae, and just talk. And if nothing else, if you would be willing to come and be my guest at the coronation next year, you and the missus can get dolled up and come down and touch the It'll be fun.
Jimmy, I've always loved you, Jimmy. You've got a great sense of humor. I love the way you approach things. Honest to God, you got to come back because every time you come in the studio, it's a good time. But I love your message. It's just we don't think the same way. We don't have the same belief. I gave an example. I think on yesterday's show. Growing up in a black, Jewish, and Catholic neighborhood, there were differences about blah 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 blah. And I literally went to a friend of mine's house. And his father said, well, you can't come in here. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, you can't come in. You're not like us. I said, yeah, I'm Catholic. And he goes, yeah, but you're not Italian. I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe it's gotten a little better, but maybe not. I don't know. It's just...
remember I brought Jit in here and Jit did the classic leave behind with his cell phone, so it was ringing all the time, so he talked about it for the next hour, but that was classic. But
Great guy.
His motto was stay young, have fun. And I've kind of pulled out into that too, because again, that's the whole idea. Like your mind stays young and you stay young and you have fun. I mean, that's a good way to walk through life,
Well,
no quite.
Mr. Money Tie in the studio, and we got Mr. Money Talks on the phone.
Is he on the phone?
Do you want to do that last break first?
Can you stick around for a couple more minutes, Jimmy? So while we do this, and then we'll say goodbye to everybody, all right?
Driver, I'll be back.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple of seconds with a live Josh Arnold, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a second to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. If you own a business or are thinking about starting one, make sure to check out my friends at North American Banking Company. When your business is looking to capitalize on an opportunity or solve a problem, turn to their experts because they are locally owned and operated. Loan decisions are made here in the Twin Cities, not shipped out of state. This helps business owners expand with confidence. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my friends at North American Banking Company? Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely and talented Josh Arnold. What's happening, Pally?
Wonderful to be with you. And
What's great?
A new time, but same place.
Yep.
New time, same place. It's exactly right. So, Jimmy Francis is in studio. Josh, we've been talking about this, and as a nice Jewish boy in America today, you've been through this whole thing. Do you think we will ever learn that it doesn't matter if you're Catholic, you're Jewish, you're whatever you are, you're tall, you're short, you're black, you're white? Are we ever going to get over that?
Probably not.
Great news.
But, no, I'm not going to say that that's the fault of your parents, but it's just that, where everybody is raised right now, who you hang out with, and that has always been the same. You're going to hang out with people that are more like yourself than not.
But I don't.
Well, you do hang out with me, so that just goes to show you.
But the point I got to make, Josh, is the only reason I hang out with you is because I like your family.
Well, you probably like my mother more than me.
Well, there's no question about that.
She is very adorable.
She's adorable.
You like my significant other more than me, so I understand that. And you probably would have liked my wife, more than me. I understand all of that. But you grew up in, primarily, a black, Jewish, Catholic neighborhood.
Yep. I did.
And when you went outside to play, and you played with all these different kids, probably up until you were, maybe in high school, and things kind of changed. In my neighborhood growing up, it was primarily Catholics and Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody played together until high school, and I'm not going to say you went your separate ways, but people started having different interests.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And if you went into the if you went into the military, that probably gave you a better chance of dealing with a lot of different people, because you're thrown in, we'll say, to basic training with people from many different states and many different backgrounds. And the likelihood of that happening right now is pretty slim. Back then there was the draft, and that hit just about everybody. Now it's a volunteer military, and you might have that, but even in that situation, while you might be thrown in with people of different, we'll say, races or cultures,
right,
you have a common bond in that you all wanted to be there.
No, Josh, I got to ask you a question, because I learned something from you a couple of months ago that I never took any time to research. I didn't know was the case. I always thought, interest rates were interest rates, that if you put your money in a certain area, that it would make, hey, you're going to make, 3%, you're going to make 4%, da, 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 da. I didn't even know until you brought up to me that the amount of money you deposit or put with someone to make interest, that interest rate can vary greatly. You can get up to, and maybe it's more than that, but you and I talked about a 10% interest rate on a certain investment. And I never knew my whole life you could get up to that much, a 10% return on your money. That's a lot.
Yeah, depending on where it's put. But if you're just looking for yield in any investment, the higher the yield, the more risk related to that investment. The higher the yield in any specific investment. If I were to look, we'll say at the average return investing in, we'll say the stock market measured by the S&P 500 over a very long period of time is about 10%.
God.
But that means that there's some years you're going to earn a lot more than that, and some years you're going to earn less than that, and even go negative.
Yeah.
So if I look at the returns in the S&P 500 over the last, we'll say over the last 4 years, you had a positive year where the S&P was up 19%. The next year it was down 23%. The next year after that it was up. 23%. And last year it was up 24.5%. So that's just over a 4-year period of time. Now the period of time where the S&P went down, which would have been in 2022, instead of people adding to their investments, they said, the world is going to fall apart. Let's sell everything before we lose everything. So you've invested, you made a gain the first year in 2021. You sold at a loss in 2022. And now you're saying, I'm not going to invest again until I'm sure that things are up. So you left out investing or buying at the bottom in late 2022. You said, and the market went up in 2023. You said, now I'm just going to come back because I'm listening to all the talking heads in the newspapers as they're saying things may not be so good. We're worried about interest rates. Housing prices are through the roof. We're going to have a recession. So I'm not going to invest then. And we'll wait. We'll wait for another bottom. And last year things went up again. So now you're sitting at a loss, maybe earning 1 or 2% interest by keeping the money in a money market account. You've just lost out, and that is the story of most investors.
That is amazing.
I would say, I've got a long period of time, or even, I'm now retiring. I better put all my money or take my money and put it into a safe place. Well, even if you're retiring, if you retire at 65 or even 70, life expectancy continues to go out. So we'll say you retire at 70, you've got your Social Security coming in, and if you put your money in your bank, you'll probably run out a lot sooner than if you were to, buy even the S&P 500, because I'd be willing to make a bet that over the next 10 years, by having your money invested even in the S&P 500, which comprises the largest companies, will probably have an average return of 10%. With more likelihood is going to be twice what you're going to earn
Right.
putting your money in government bonds.
That's an amazing thing that I learned from Josh Arnold. Josh, when you come into the studio again, you pill.
Well, when are you going to move back to Minnesota?
I'm getting on an airplane tomorrow. I'm coming back to Minnesota tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow night, and I'll be there for quite a few days.
It's a wonderful thing. Well, maybe when you're back, and if Catherine's with you, or even if she's not, we'll call up Sammy, make a reservation, and go see Sammy.
I'd love to see Sammy. That's a great idea, Buster. I'll get a hold of you, and we will see you next week. All right?
That would be wonderful.
All right, Josh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Talk to you.
Bye-bye. Josh Arnold, ladies and gentlemen, I do sincerely learn. I had no idea you could make 10% on your money if you invested at the right time, invest wisely. I had no idea you could make that much. Jimmy, I'll say this again. I love the fact that you brought up the differences in people and that people get very touchy about that. Like I said, you and I are totally different people, but you've been a dear friend of mine for a long time. I think the world of you, and I'm really glad you brought that up. You know?
Thanks, and I again invite you to come over, and I'm part of that amateur chef society, so I got to be practicing my meals. So I'd love to cook for you again, and
Wow,
I'm no
that was a great night.
I'm no Sammy, but
Have you been watching Landman by any chance?
I have not. Somebody has told me that I need to do that though.
Well, there was an episode where this woman makes this gigantic pot of paella. And she's making everybody eat it like they do in Spain.
With a spoon.
With a spoon and you get your little wedge and you just eat it out of the pan, and her husband throws
gross.
this temper tantrum, and it's so funny.
It's great.
I don't think I'd eat paella that way.
No, I don't think you would either, Andy. No question. Jimmy, you got to come back a lot. Well, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
I was just gonna say thanks for having me. It's always fun to visit and see you on camera. So thanks.
Well, please come back as often as you can, because I think the world of you. You're a good man.
Thank you, Tommy.
South St. Paul's lucky. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
What the hell? Let's try that again.
There it is.
Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.